And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the Isiah Thomas episode. And as promised, Mark Tyler's here. The 6'1", 180-pound point guard is a two-time champ, zero-time MVP. He's a 12-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, playing 13 years in the league after being the number 2 overall pick. And he is a Hall of Famer, with career averages of 19, 3, and 9 on 45% shooting. And then that will lead me to Ray, who has him listed the lowest by a long shot at number 44 overall and number 10 on his point guard list. And no, everybody, don't worry, Mark didn't have a heart attack when I said those numbers.
Get the defibrillator now. All right, here we go. I just have a few points. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. First point is that you thought you were so good that you got complacent, and by being complacent, you held back. Example, instead of 2 final MVPs, you only have 1. Instead of being a 3-time champion, you only have 2. Being complacent and then underestimating your opponent. Second point, sportsmanship. While trying to win your 3rd title, you lost. And on your way out of the door, you didn't stop to congratulate anyone. Just walked your bitch ass off the court and knew you were doing the wrong thing because you looked like you were trying to hide from an ex-girlfriend and you held your head down in shame. Number 3. Nobody can deny how good this man was at the game. No one. But when you act like this and hold back, act like you're better than what you were, you're going to get negative marks from me. And that's why he's so low on my list. And one last thing. Being from the University of Indiana, you get another negative mark because didn't Bobby Knight teach you better? And that's all I got.
All right. Well, from 44 to 29, we go to Uncle Doug, who has him number 29 overall and number 4 on his point guard list.
4th on my point guard list. Yeah, Isiah was 18,000 points. He's number 70 on the list. Rebounds doesn't really matter. Assists, 9,000. He's number 9 on the list. His 9.3 average is number 5 on the list. And I have him at number 4, so pretty close. Steals, all time, he's 18, and his steals average is 24th. Isiah was a very good point guard. Most things that people have against Isiah, and we've talked about this off the air, are not on the court related. They're other things. And I tried very hard to put that aside when I was ranking him because he was a very good point guard. I was watching the night he sprained his ankle and scored all the points against the Lakers. I didn't like it, but you got to give the man credit. He played.
All right. Well, that will lead us to Drew, who has him identically ranked at 29 overall and 4th on his point guard list.
All right, well, about Isiah Thomas, I'm just going to say it right now. He's definitely not one of my favorite players all time. We're going to get that out of the way. But, again, I try not to be biased like that. He does have a Finals MVP, and we know how much we value that here on the podcast. He's one of the players that had the championship and was the best player on a championship team. So I think you have to value that. Ray says he didn't get a second one. Well, I'm sure that will come in discussion later. He won 2 titles. I think his stats are very well for a point guard, 19, 3, and 9. I think that's very well. That's all I got for start with Isiah.
All right. Well, that will move to me then, with quite the jump up at number 15 overall and 3 on his point guard list. So for me with Isiah, I'm going to have to agree with Uncle Doug. It's hard to keep my personal feelings out of this argument because I don't like Isiah. I definitely don't like the bad boys. But he's not Bill Laimbeer, so, it's not that bad. But Isiah was definitely talented. Like I said, I have him as my number 3 overall point guard, so I'm not, hating on him too hard. He's definitely talented. I think the biggest knocks on Isiah are longevity and efficiency. But he has one of the greatest assist seasons in the history of basketball at 13.9. It's the highest ever by somebody not named John Stockton, who has like 4 or 5 seasons higher than that. But, just some crazy seasons. And that same season, he averaged 13.9. He averaged like 20 points a game. Just a hellacious season. And we all know I like championships, and he has 2 of them. So that's how I'll leave it for right now, which will kick us to Wade, who has him 2 spots higher than me at number 13 overall and number 2 on his point guard list.
Yeah. Well, I have some really bad news. Allen Iverson has more win shares than Isiah Thomas.
By a lot.
Well, it's not by a lot, it's by a couple.
Like
But
19, I think.
they're both in the 80s. But
No, Allen Iverson has
I'm going to have to take him
99.
off my list at this point. I'm not happy about it. Gary Payton's going to go on my list. No, I'm just joking. They're both in the 80s, but it doesn't
I
matter.
could be wrong, but I think AI's at 99.
Yeah, I think he's in the 80s.
I'll look real quick just to make
Point
sure.
is, I'm pretty upset about it. I don't like it.
I was going to bring it up in some minutes, so.
But win shares don't matter when you actually win, so it's okay. But, all right. And actually, I was impressed. I thought Uncle Doug, I thought he'd be way down your list because I know how much you don't like him. But yeah, I'm at 4, so I was impressed by that.
99.
He has 99?
Mhm.
I still think it's 80-something, but it's fine.
You don't know how to calculate them.
New to you.
I'm not saying I don't. I'm not saying no wrong.
We tried that one night. No way.
I'm pretty sure it's just made up, and they just threw formulas out over and over again until they confuse you to the point where nobody can figure it out.
Right.
Foolishness, Ray. Foolishness. Anyway.
But is it?
Yeah. I can't calculate half the shit they have in sports, but it doesn't mean it's not a stat. But anyway.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah. But with Isiah, when he needed to, he was a dominant scorer. Not all the point guards on our list can say that. When he had to, which was most of the time, he facilitated, which most of our point guards can do that, but a few of them can't. He played on one of the greatest defensive teams ever, although I wouldn't say he was leading the defense by any means. And he won 2 championships in an era that had 3 of maybe the top 5 greatest players ever in it, and he won 2 straight championships, which I don't think anyone else, not very many people can say. When you beat Bird and you beat Magic and you beat Jordan, that's hard, and he did it twice and almost 3 times. I believe the Lakers got him once in the finals, but yes. And can one of you tell me? I was watching a YouTube video on Isiah, and being the jackass that he is, he said that him and all the Detroit Pistons consider themselves 3 times champions because of some foul call that happened with Jabbar in the finals. What was the foul call?
I know what you're talking about. 1988. He is right. It was a phantom foul call. I was going for the Lakers. Lambeer didn't touch Kareem.
Well, I don't think that's
yeah.
entirely true though, because I watched the video myself to brush up on this. He touched him.
That was.
No, I'm not. I don't know. I will say this: in the 1980s, I was absolutely stunned that was called a foul. Today, they might have suspended him.
I didn't have time to watch it.
It was a phantom foul similar. Now here's one you all probably saw. 2001. Was that against the Indiana Pacers?
Who we talking about?
Lakers. Kobe, Shaq, Lakers.
No, that's 2000. 2000.
I thought 2000 they played Philly. Oh, 2000 they played
2000. 2001 was Philly.
Okay, 2000 they played Philly. There was a phantom foul. Game 6. There was a phantom foul call. Game 6. Lakers had Glenn Rice, and it was a scramble for the ball. Glenn Rice picked it up, shot it, it went in. They called a foul, but he wasn't touched.
Yeah.
And this one was much the same way. He did not touch Kareem. He didn't touch him. He was close to him, but he didn't touch him.
I didn't have time to watch it, so I really don't know what happened.
I just typed in Lambeer and phantom foul came up.
It was a phantom foul. It was a phantom foul. It was not.
They
a foul.
also fouled him out of the game.
The Pistons would have won in '88.
Well, they should have won in '87.
They should have went to the finals.
Well, they should have went to the finals in
right.
'87, and Isiah pissed it away.
Right, he did. He did.
And I'm going to discuss
All
that.
right. I feel like I started something
Okay.
here. I just wanted to know what. But
That's good, though. That's good.
106 is where it
Yeah.
gets up close, so you can see it on the video that we're all watching right now.
Yeah, sorry, it's not good podcasting, but I'm watching this video. Drew's watching the video.
can someone turn it here? I'm the one that asked the question.
Oh shit! Here we go. They're gonna show the replay. I know, but yeah, it's the what is it?
Show him Lambier's face.
88 finals. 88 finals. Lambier's Garden. Jabbar on the right block. Jabbar shoots what? Oh, a skyhook.
Skyhook, yeah.
And
Oh, here we go. Pass inbounds. Jabbar with the ball. Skyhook. No foul.
No, they call.
Well, they called a foul, but there wasn't
You
a foul.
didn't think it was a foul?
Hell no, that wasn't no foul.
Well, all I'm saying is when Lambier comes down, he comes down on Jabbar's front shoulder.
It looked like it looked like a little
So-
bit of body contact, but I didn't think it was a ton.
Well,
But there are shitty calls in every series you
Yeah.
can point at.
Well, and
Have you-
Lane Beer has a reputation.
That's true too.
And let's be honest, guys get reputation calls.
Yeah,
That's
Even,
it,
even
yeah.
today,
They do.
Draymond gets reputation calls. Ron
Yeah.
Artest, you should get reputation
Oh, yeah,
calls.
all the time.
On
You
the,
know?
on the other end, if you're a great all-time player, you get calls all day long.
That's
Yep.
true, and Jabbar
Correct.
is
That's
that.
it.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you
Jabbar
watch
is-
LeBron play? I mean,
I looked up
Oh,
the
I'm
Phantom
telling
Foul on YouTube, and now there's some Bulls game.
Oh, yeah, against New York. Look, I thought my therapy was successful over that one.
Yeah, there's this playlist of Phantom Fouls just over and over. It's got like 10 of them listed.
Wow. No, but the Phantom Foul came up repeatedly, and when I looked at stuff on
okay.
Isaiah.
Now there's a Phantom Foul on LeBron, which we all know that.
Well, that's every week.
I said that's
No,
about
that's all
every
time.
week.
Hey, let's be honest. LeBron hasn't committed a foul since he came in the league. Ask him; he'll tell you.
he just got ejected for the first or second time in like 19 years of his
Yeah.
career.
Yeah.
There night.
And then,
And then he got fans ejected from my team's fans.
Yeah, what was that all about?
It's stupid.
Apparently, they made fun of Bronny.
they said they wanted Bronny to die in like a
hope
car
he
crash.
dies in a car crash.
Yeah.
I've been on Facebook with that one for all week. We've been.
Should I finish my opening statement?
Yeah, you saw that. Go ahead.
Sure,
Go,
sure.
go.
We're drifting.
My bad, man.
No, I'm done. We can move on.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mark Tyler. What would you like to say
My
about
argument,
Isaiah?
way beyond stats, and it's something similar to what Wade said. This guy, I have a lot. At the All-Star game in 1997, they had the 50 greatest players. They also listed the 10 best teams. Okay, among those 10 best teams was the 92 Bulls, the 87 Lakers, and the 86 Celtics. Right in between that is the 89 Detroit Pistons. Isaiah was the leader that essentially ended Showtime and the Celtics stranglehold over the East and delayed the Chicago Bulls championships.
I heard this over and over again today, and I'm going to say it's over. It's hyped too much, because at that time, let's think about this. At that time, McHale was done. In the first year they won was Brilly Bird's last year before he was done. Jabbar was done, and Mike was playing with the five of us, and didn't have nobody yet.
But let's
So
do this.
they weren't like Broussard kept saying over. He beat them all in their primes. I just don't know if that's true.
But let's say this. In 1990, the Bulls made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. You say with us, except nobody else in the league could stop them, except the Pistons. The Lakers still made it to
Well,
the
hold on.
finals.
Let me ask you this, Bulls fan. How did they stop them?
How did
The
Detroit
Pistons.
stop them?
Yeah, how did they stop the
The
Bulls?
Jordan rules.
Exactly.
They beat them
They
up.
beat them up.
Yeah.
They didn't beat them in basketball. They beat them up.
They beat them up. But they still had the same mentality when they met in 91, except the Bulls had grew up a little bit. They matured.
And they also, put on a bunch of weight.
That's what, yeah. They hit the weight room. They did.
And by that point, I would say Isaiah wasn't the same player anymore. Isaiah has
That's what
started
he'll tell you.
has started the decline that Bird and Magic had started when he started winning. You see what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah, but
well,
you
it's
know
a
what?
cycle.
Magic never really
it is.
declined.
It is.
Cycle.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. What?
Magic fell off because of AIDS. He didn't really
Well,
decline.
okay. So
But
Jabbar
Bird-
was gone.
but
Bird and McHale were gone
yeah.
at that point.
But my point about, and we'll get to it later when I get to the Stockton, the Isaiah Stockton, because Isaiah Stockton, you know how people you say you're comparing apples to oranges. Well, not with Isaiah and Stockton. You're comparing apples to apples.
And they played
Oranges
against
to
each other.
oranges.
Yes.
So
I got something to help out Mark. What you just said to Mark about them beating up the Bulls is what Uncle Doug told you about what the Celtics used to do to the Lakers. You get what I'm saying? Kind of like that was Uncle Doug's point to you, and then now you just made it to Mark.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Uncle Doug. I took what Uncle Doug said. The Celtics played a more physical brand of basketball than the Lakers did, which I don't think is debatable. They did. The Pistons were out there trying to fuck people up.
wait a minute. Let me
Now, outside of McHale clotheslining Rambus,
And even McHale said he went too far. I mean, he
Yeah.
wasn't trying to hurt
At least he
Kurt.
admitted it.
because
He wasn't trying to hurt Kurt. It was just part of the game. I mean,
I think the Pistons, and I think that's why everybody does hate the Pistons. And when I say everybody, I mean players from that era, not me personally. That doesn't really matter. Because they were trying to hurt people. They were dirty, and they were cowards. I mean, as a Bulls fan, I mean, I'm sure you love Dennis Rodman, but the scene where Dennis throws Scotty in the stands, when Scotty is standing by the stanchion with his back turned to him, and Dennis just runs in and cleans his clock from behind, like, that's cowardly. That's worse than what Beverly did to Chris Paul last year.
I don't love Dennis Rodman. He just served a purpose for mine. If you serve a purpose for us, okay, we'll accept you. It ain't no love there. But one of the things Isaiah says is, he said when asked, well, where did the bad boys develop their mentality? He said, we learned from the Celtics. We learned from the Celtics.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Isaiah blames everything in his life on everybody else. Isaiah blames Mike. Isaiah blames Bird. He blames Magic. He blames the rest of the Pistons. Isaiah is the ultimate con man. Isaiah is honestly, look over there, look over there, look over there, look over there. Even when he did the walkout, he was trying to hide behind Bill Laimbeer.
He blamed Bill Laimbeer.
He doesn't take credit for anything except for I was really good. He takes credit for that.
Well, I'm going to disagree with that a little bit. Isaiah was really good.
He was. I say he's good.
And what I'm saying is, and this is where the argument with Stockton, their teams were relatively equivalent to each other. I'm talking about player for player. Let's remove Stockton. Let's remove Isaiah. There's nothing outstanding about the Pistons. And Karl Malone is better than Dennis Rodman.
I would agree with that.
Laimbeer maybe could shoot a little better than what was the big top? Mark Eaton.
Mark Eaton, yeah. Eaton wasn't much.
Mark Eaton was gonna block some shots though.
Yeah.
And rebound. And their teams were really equivalent to each other.
Utah didn't have Joe Dumars though. I do like Joe Dumars.
I like Joe Dumars.
Yes, thank you, Doug.
He's a
Yeah.
Hall of Famer, but look, Utah has 2 top 50s.
They do.
Isaiah
They do.
Karl Malone.
That's true.
And Karl Malone is
You're
the
right.
all-time. I don't know where he's on your power forward list, but he's on there in the top 10.
Right. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Good point. Yeah.
Isaiah beat the teams that the Jazz could not, because the Jazz couldn't get past the Lakers, and ultimately they could. It was a different Bulls team than Isaiah.
Well,
faced.
I do agree, and I realized you weren't here for the Stockton episode, and it hasn't come out yet, so you haven't heard part of what my Stockton argument was. But part of that is Stockton's biggest problem was Malone, because Malone wouldn't show up when it mattered, and we went over Stockton's numbers in some of these huge games, and you and I had a conversation about these playoff game winners that Stockton hit during his career. One of which he hit against the Bulls. Was it Game 5 of the '98 Finals where he hit the game-winning 3 to send it to Game 6? Stockton came up huge in a lot of big playoff games. I mean, we were talking about one series he averaged 20 and 20 or something stupid like that. I think Stockton's biggest problem as far as winning in the playoffs was Karl Malone.
Well, I'm not saying, by no means am I saying Stockton choked. That's not what I'm saying. I think Stockton is great, okay? But what I'm saying, I think Isaiah got him by a hair, and it's not the stats.
So do you have Stockton at 3?
No. Wait a minute. I got Stockton like 5. I have Stockton at 5, behind Steph and Oscar.
I forgot about Steph.
Stephen Curry. Of course. I've got Stockton at
Steph,
5,
baby.
Yeah,
So, I believe so do I. I believe I also have Steph ahead of Stockton.
I do too.
I do too. I have Steph ahead
Hey,
of
Oscar.
Isaiah and Stockton.
But Stockton was good enough. I remember they ran a commercial. It was a Magic Johnson commercial, and it's his oldest son in it. And and they're arguing in the commercial, and his oldest son said, "Forget it. I'll take the Stockton card." Stockton was a bad dude. I mean, there ain't no question about that. I've never heard that argument. His biggest issue was Malone. Big game.
Hey man, the mailman don't deliver on Sunday.
Even in 1988, the year that the Lakers beat the Pistons,
Mhm.
well, in the Western Conference Finals, they beat the Jazz 4 games. It was the Jazz they beat 4-3. Or either Western Conference semifinals. Maybe it was the semifinals, because I think they met Dallas in the Western Conference Finals and beat them in 7 games.
Who was on Dallas that time? Was that Blackman and Aguirre?
He was killing James Worthy, probably. He was killing James Worthy.
I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, my main point was right before the Pistons won, Magic Johnson even says this in an interview, the Celtics beat up the Pistons and then they beat up the Lakers. And then Magic said in an interview, we had to learn to not feed into them beating us up, and we had to play basketball. And then the Pistons did duplicate that and then beat them a few years later and won back-to-back championships.
Right.
And then they started beating people up. And then the Bulls learned to beat the Lakers. It was a constant cycle. It wasn't just the Pistons beating people up.
Right.
Lambeer was a douche. That's for sure.
I think
But everyone, or the East was, there was
East
multiple
was-
teams beating people up.
I think the bad boys are like the Rockets. Okay? You had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson come on the scene and shoot an ass load of 3-pointers.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really good at it.
Right.
And it led to championships.
Said the Rockets?
You mean the Warriors? You said the
No,
Rockets.
no, I meant
You
the
talking
Rockets.
the Rockets? Yeah, Rockets. I know where you're
And
going.
then the Rockets took lesser players and said, guess what? We're not just going to shoot a bunch of 3-pointers. We're going to shoot all 3-pointers. And even guys that suck at 3-pointers, we're going to shoot 3-pointers. And we're going to take it to such an extreme, nobody wants to watch us play anymore. And that was the bad boys at the end of the 80s. They took it to an extreme, a super extreme, where the NBA went in and had to change a bunch of rules because they were afraid they were going to hurt all their best players.
Well, what you call it? Emulated them. New York. They tried to.
Yes, they did.
But they were playing the grown-up Chicago Bulls, not the kid Chicago Bulls.
Indiana had a similar formula later on, too, with the Davis brothers and other people.
Indiana did the same thing with the Davis guys. But
Yeah.
they were the grown-up Bulls, so, you know.
Yeah.
But the kid Bulls
grown-up Bulls.
would have been intimidated.
Well, and the other thing is, though, too, at the bad boy portion of this thing, Scotty wasn't Scotty yet.
Right. He wasn't Scotty yet.
Scotty later, really blossoms into a great player. And
He followed Mike putting on weight. Hit
he did.
weights
He
too.
talked.
See it
He
in his
put
body.
on weight, and he became bigger, stronger. Which I think helped. But I also think Scotty, we talked about this a little bit in the Scotty episode. I think Scotty's a guy that you have to prove to him that he can do it, and then once he sees it, he's like, "Oh shit! Like I am this good." And that's the way I always looked at Scotty. And then once they beat the Pistons,
Yeah.
then you didn't worry about the Pistons no more.
Right.
But the Pistons were in Scotty's head.
They were. I agree. I think, it's my opinion, they said this in the Last Dance. Michael didn't agree, but the Pistons really gave birth to how good Chicago was, because once they beat the Pistons, they never looked back. No one else got in their heads again.
I think without the bad boys, the Bulls, I think they would have been great regardless, but I think the Bulls could have had a similar build-up to Oklahoma City Thunder years ago, where they got there too fast and then didn't know what to do with it necessarily, and they hadn't defined their roles, and they hadn't done everything together and built this great team yet, and then fucked it around.
I agree. Because they should have been champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, after they lost to the Miami Heat. Was it Miami Heat they lost?
Yeah, it was the LeBron Heat team, yeah. No, seriously, that's one of the biggest what-ifs of our lifetime. At least our young guys' lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that Oklahoma City team with 3 MVPs on it
Right.
doesn't win anything, and they dismantle. That's crazy. Anyway, let's talk about Isiah Thomas. So let's just put it out there. Ray, why is he so low on your list, man?
Well, I mean, I have acknowledged that he is a great player, but there's some nitpick things that I've already acknowledged that I can't just get over. Like, if you say you're a great point guard, I mean, why can't you win the second MVP? Like, you talk all this shit, but yet Joe Dumars beat you out. And I got Joe Dumars above of Isiah Thomas, so suck on that.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, okay, let's go into litigation then, because I've got some questions.
My favorite day. My favorite
Dun, dun.
Uh,
segment.
Dude, you have Charles Oakley ahead of Isiah Thomas.
Yeah. Isiah Thomas loses all respect when you act like a bitch and you can't win a second MVP. So that's when Charles Oakley has to take up the mantle and get over your ass.
If you like Finals MVPs this much, you can't hate on Kawhi anymore.
Dude,
I never said I really hated Kawhi.
Oakley doesn't
He just can't show up.
Oakley didn't win any Finals MVPs.
That's yeah, but at least he came to play.
He's a triple single.
That's fine. But at least he came to grind it out and play and not act like a bitch the whole time.
Some strong statements coming from our guy Ray here.
Sorry, Mark.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, all right. Well, let's go position then here for
Okay,
a second.
I'm ready for that one.
You have Mark Jackson ahead of Isiah Thomas, obviously. So, can you elaborate?
I feel like Mark Jackson.
Sorry,
You're very passionate right now. Keep going.
Wow. Okay, guys. Peanut gallery. I feel like Mark Jackson was the textbook point guard, as I've already stated, but as well that he also, completed a team, as he did as a point guard. Isiah Thomas, great player, but I mean, like I already stated, he got so complacent to where he got on this big pedestal where he never got better than what he was.
Okay, so let's do this exercise, Ray.
Oh, we got to exercise. We got a workbook?
You know what I mean. Let's take the second finals and say they didn't win it.
Okay.
Let's say they lost because Isiah was too complacent and they lost.
Okay.
Okay. He still has another championship and a finals MVP
Okay.
while he averages more points, more assists, and shooting a higher percentage than Mark Jackson.
Now, maybe we're talking with something there because maybe that, no, hold on. Now y'all laughing. Now maybe we're talking. Maybe he goes above Mark Jackson because maybe he realizes that, hey, I need to step my game up, and maybe I'm not on this, big pedestal of, ego, whatever I'm on, and maybe he gets better, and maybe he wins a couple more after that.
So are you saying that it was better for him to lose that championship than win it and have Dumars be the MVP?
I'm saying that if he would have lost his second title, it might have been better for Isiah. By him winning the second one, I think by him going against the Bulls on the third one, and him on that big high pedestal, because he probably thought, like, okay, whatever, Joe Dumars got it, fuck it. But once he got the third, and he's already had the 2 titles, and he's going against Chicago, which they've already beaten. I mean, he's on this pedestal of. I mean, I don't like Isiah. Like, it's the same argument I got with LeBron. He held back, and he shouldn't have never held back. Like, LeBron should be a whole lot better than what he is. Same with Isiah. He should be a whole lot better on a different level than everybody else. And they both held back, and it fucking kills me. And I hate that they're not higher on my list, but it is what it is.
I don't know. I guess I don't understand how losing a title helps anyone.
It's a motivational thing.
So you're saying
No,
it would motivate?
really
It would
is.
motivate him more.
I mean, look at Michael. He lost the title against the Pistons, and what did he do? That whole team got up, got in the fucking weight room, and got their shit together and whooped that fucking Piston ass.
It's true.
Well, I get what you're saying to an extent, Ray, but they were getting their teeth kicked in for years before this. Like, they didn't for Isaiah's, I think, first 4 seasons in the NBA, they couldn't even make the playoffs.
Well, neither did
And
Mike.
and then when they made the playoffs for a few years, but couldn't get out of the first round, and then they started to get better, and you saw the rise. So I think they've already, and like Mark mentioned earlier, they lost very dramatically 2 straight years. The Bird steals the ball, lost them a series, and then the what we call the phantom foul the next year. So they already had some pretty dramatic losses.
Well, I mean, but that's fine but you're going against, you're not in the finals. Like, until you actually win the title, I don't see Isiah actually having an ego, because you're just like lost, and then it's like, yeah, now I got something. Now I got something again, and now you can't stop me. And then Michael Jordan just fucking shits on his parade.
Well, I can't argue with that. Mark, you got any rebuttals?
Without, in the absence of Magic Johnson, I think Isiah Thomas would have been the greatest point guard ever. But we have Magic Johnson. I can't think during this time period, besides Magic, there's no point guard I wrote some things down. I think this is one of your core values. Isiah Thomas is one of the most mentally tough people, athletes ever.
I wouldn't limit it to mental. For all my dislikes of Isiah Thomas, we've seen him play with some pretty brutal injuries. I mean, he got his head split open.
By Karl Malone.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I don't like Karl Malone.
He had they had to
That's the
he
Chicago.
he had like 11 stitches in his head and came back out and played.
Yeah.
Like, he was physically tough.
He was a tough dude. He was a leader, because he's the one who forced the Adrian Dantley Mark Aguirre trade. That was Isiah.
Yes, I believe we talked about that during the Dantley episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was Isiah.
I will say this, Mark. We talked about his peers hating him. His teammates loved him. Outside of Dantley, I mean.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, those Lambeer, Mahorn, Johnson, Rodman, Dumars, all those guys, they love Isiah Thomas. And when they won that first title, the whole team ran over and put Isiah Thomas on their shoulders and carried him off the court.
Oh, yeah. By the way, that 89 team, Dumars was the MVP. Isiah got it in 90.
Oh, it was flip-flop.
It was flip-flop.
Okay.
Isiah got the MVP in 90. I was just looking it up. But Isaiah's tough. And that might have been that west side of Chicago in him. But he's tough.
I knew he was going to wear Chicago.
Had to.
He's a Chicago, and I'm a Chicago.
Yeah.
And he would be the toast of Chicago had it not been for, Michael Jordan coming along.
I personally think that's why he dislikes Mike so much.
That's part of it. People say
because
that.
Mike took his city from him.
Yeah, I think
took
so.
his city. And one time, I think I read this somewhere. He saw one of his nephews in a Jordan jersey, and he didn't like it. I mean, Michael took his city. I've read that. Michael took his city from him. And I think it wouldn't have been so bad had it not been for the way they exited. You know. Now, according to Isiah and someone else, it might have been Mahorn, they say the Celtics did the same exact thing to them the year before.
They did outside of McHale.
Outside of Kevin McHale,
Yes.
they said the rest of the Celtics did the exact same thing. They said Dantley was at the free throw line as the Celtics are walking off while Dantley is shooting free throws.
Yeah.
But the Celtics said, yes, we did, but they said they did it for their safety because they were in Detroit.
Okay.
I don't know. I watched an interview where they asked Larry Bird about it, and his answer was, "I didn't like those motherfuckers. I wasn't shaking their hands."
Right.
Like, I mean,
No, it's the interesting thing. Nobody else in the NBA blames them. Larry, in the same interview, said he didn't care nothing about shaking nobody's hand.
But see, I can respect the Bird thing because he actually owned up to it. Over fucking like 30 years, Isiah keeps fucking dancing around the subject. Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry about this. And
it was Lambier's
fault. But, I can respect Larry Bird saying, yeah, I don't like them bitches, whatever. But Isiah keeps trying to get the popular vote for the last 30, 40
In
years.
the last dance, Isiah said, had I known it was going to cause that big of a problem, I would have shook hands. He said, I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
I don't think Isiah was all for it to begin with. Because, like I said, he was trying to hide. I think Isiah was torn on it to begin with.
Torn? What do you mean?
Like, he didn't know whether he should do it or not.
Oh, okay.
And
Like, he just went with the team. It wasn't like his idea.
Yeah.
Because even though Mike didn't like him, Mike shook their hands when he lost.
Yeah.
He did. He did.
And you know how Mike hates losing.
In 1990,
But he
tore up their
manned
locker
up
room,
and
but he shook hands.
he shook their hand.
And Michael Jordan also calls Isiah Thomas the second best point guard of all time.
Yep.
Says that in The Last Dance.
But Isiah says that Michael is not his peer because Michael was never a threat to him. Only Magic and Bird were threats to him.
Yeah, that makes Isiah feel good. He's full of doo-doo. He's full of doo-doo.
See, we've turned the Isiah guy on Isiah.
He's full of doo-doo.
All right, so here's let's go back to litigation here. You also have Chris Mullin ranked ahead of Isiah Thomas.
Yeah, because I'm an Indiana guy,
Oh, okay.
That's because of that.
All right, so what about the glove?
The Glove's just more, I think, more complete player. Isaiah's good scoring and good assists, but Peyton's just good all around. I mean, he's a good defender too. Like, you can't deny Peyton. I mean, y'all can, like, you're a Chicago guy, and we all watch Isaiah stuff, and if it wasn't for some little nitpick things, I mean, I got my Hoosiers hat up there. I love the Hoosiers and Indiana, but Peyton's just all around better player, I think.
Hold on. Now I'm thinking back a few minutes ago. Didn't you say it was a negative for Isaiah to play for Indiana?
Yeah, because he fucking, acted like the way he did.
Oh, gotcha. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I understand now.
Yeah.
Didn't he lead the Hoosiers to an NCAA
He's an undefeated season.
title?
I mean, he may have.
He and Bobby Knight butted heads at first, but they got to be friends by the
they're
end.
best of buds.
They got to be buds by the end.
If you can't act right after you get out, then, I mean, I ain't got no use for you.
Well, I will say this. I don't disagree with your Peyton defensive stuff because I do believe in the Peyton episode I said Peyton was the best defensive point guard of all time. So I don't disagree that he was a better defender than Isiah Thomas. I guess where I'm asking is Isaiah averages more points, more assists. They shoot similarly. So that was more what I was getting at. 'Cause I don't disagree with the defensive end of the floor, although I don't think Isaiah was a bad defender.
It's probably more of just the flavor. I like Peyton. He's more of a grit and grind guy. That's my type of player. I mean, and
I don't know if you get more grit and grind.
Well,
than
I
the Bad Boys.
mean, right, and I was trying to get to that before you said something. I mean, the bad boy Pistons, but I mean, Gary Payton is just he's such a unique guy. He's just so grit and grind, way above anybody else.
I think defensively, Gary Payton is better than like 98% of the point guards that's ever played in the league. I mean, he's an elite defender, so he's going to be better than just about anybody you can.
So who is that 2%?
That's better? I don't know that may not be. Maybe Sloan Van Leer. maybe. But and they were brutal though. They played in the 70s and they were brutal. I don't know that. I'm not saying they're better.
So you think Sloan and Van Leer are better defensively than Frazier?
Oh yeah. I think you're right up there. In those days, the basketball teams were built around the big man, and that's where the Bulls fell short at. They couldn't get past the Lakers and the Bucks because they had to go up against Chamberlain and Kareem, and it didn't work. And those teams were good teams, but
all right, fair enough. We've had multiple conversations about defensive point guards, and our conversations usually come down to Peyton and Frazier.
yeah.
But again,
I didn't Frazier.
I didn't watch not only Frazier, but I didn't watch Sloan and Van Leer play either. So I don't.
But I also have to throw out there Sonics is probably my second favorite team of all time. So there's probably another biased opinion there.
All right. Well, I think I'll leave you alone, Ray.
Are you sure?
I
You want
guess.
to come at me again?
I think I picked out all the big glaring ones.
Okay.
I think we've covered some of them recently anyway. You know, we talked
Yeah.
Nash and Kidd and those guys here real recently. Stockton.
Yeah.
So we covered all that. So Uncle Doug,
Yes, sir.
why do you have AI ahead of Isiah?
I have to look at.
I'm surprised I didn't get a reaction out of Wade when I said that.
I'm waiting.
Win shares. Win shares. Win shares.
That's it. Win shares. Thank you, dude.
No problem. Wade, that's all we've talked about for the last 5 weeks since you've been gone is wind shares.
Oh, yeah?
Wind
Yeah.
sheet.
That's right. We laugh about it every time. I imagine it's scoring. Just the numbers. Of course, sometimes when I bounce back and forth between different categories, I did really well, I think, within the categories.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
sometimes, comparing point guards to shooting guards to small forwards to power forwards.
I did the same thing when I was making my list. Like at one point, I noticed I have 5 centers down, and I've only marked down 2 shooting guards. Maybe I should write down a shooting guard.
I know. I said the same thing.
I
a
caught
couple
myself
episodes
doing that
ago.
a few different
Yeah.
times.
I said the same thing a couple episodes ago. I
Yeah.
was like, I think I screwed up a couple times because
Yeah.
I felt like I was getting away from a position, so I threw a guy down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Or you think of a guy.
So you guys have
too
Allen
late.
Iverson in the point guard section?
Shooting guard.
Shooting guard. Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about the overall list.
Oh,
Right,
gotcha. Okay.
But I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe Drew and Ray have AI ahead of Isiah as well.
Yeah.
Well, I know Ray does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably by 1 or 2 spots, I believe. I think AI is 25 or 26, and Isiah is 29. I think.
19.
Oh, it was 19.
You said 29 is 19.
Isaiah is 19.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then I don't know.
Oh, you mean? I thought we were talking points per game. I apologize.
No. I'm
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I got you. I grabbed your list real quick. So sorry. Where did I say you had Isiah? 29.
29.
Isaiah's at 29, and Iverson's at 21.
I'd probably say because Iverson scored more and he got an MVP. Probably for that year. That's probably why I put him ahead of Isaiah.
Wade. You got
Why not have
What,
Iverson
you
on my
said- No, I just want to hear your rebuttal to AI being over Isaiah.
Oh,
I just think it's funny to.
And AI has more win shares.
Well, he does have more win shares. He does. I mean, Iverson also scored more than Magic Johnson. That doesn't mean he's better.
That's true.
True that. True that.
Not Isiah Thomas got the chips.
just for comparison's sake, I do have them pulled up here next to each other. Iverson's did average 7 more points a game than Isaiah. Isaiah has 3 more assists a game. They both average right at 2 steals. They both average. Isaiah averaged slightly more turnovers, 2/10. Isaiah shot 3% better from the field. They both suck at shooting threes, and they both shoot mid-70s from the free throw line. One has an MVP. One has 2 championships. Here's something that surprised me when I looked at Isaiah. Why does he only have 5 All-NBA teams?
Yeah, that is interesting.
Because, I mean, who was knocking him out other than Magic?
Right.
That had to happen early in his career.
Like, but who though? I mean, was like Maurice Cheeks knocking him out? Because I mean,
Because
we're
he-
not talking about a guy that's averaging like 22 and
80.
10, 22 and 12. Like, how are you not making an All NBA team for over half your
True.
career?
That's-
Yeah, we only
you're
got
right.
5. Well, and we were talking about the MVPs. The best he ever finished was 5th
Yeah.
in 83-84. Now, he had a good season. He averaged 21, 4, and 11, which is pretty impressive.
But again, he's one of those people who falls with prime Magic, prime Bird, prime
Right.
Michael.
because the
It's
four
not-
guys,
yeah.
It's not going to be a lot of MVPs to
No.
be had.
yeah, the 4 guys ahead of him, Bird, I said your Bird won it. Bernard King, who we've talked about before. Bernard actually averaged 26, 5, and 2 that year. Magic and Kareem, they were 3 and 4.
I don't really knock Isaiah for not having MVPs. There was a stacked era.
It was tough.
Because it's
It
not,
really
not
was.
just Bird, Magic, and Jordan. You had Dr. J. You
Early
had
80s,
Kareem.
Right.
You, I'm forgetting somebody here.
Olajuwon.
Olajuwon came in the
Right.
same year as him.
Robinson.
So, you know, there's a
Yeah.
lot of great players in the area. But only one of those guys we just named is a point guard. So who is knocking Isaiah out of the point guard spot on the All NBA team?
Yeah, I'm sort of looking it up now. Rookie.
Well, it's only 5 guys, right?
Well, there's 2 teams. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a
His first year
And-
would have
and-
been 81, 82. Oh, it's first team 81, 82. Now he's just a rookie. Is Gervin and Gus Williams. Second team is Sidney Moncrief and Magic Johnson.
Magic was second team. Okay.
That's yeah,
Wow.
that's an 82.
Somebody else we've talked about a few
yeah,
times.
Okay.
Moncrief. Yeah.
82, 83. Guard Sidney Moncrief, Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the second team was Gervin and Isiah Thomas.
Isaiah.
Okay.
That's 80. That's 83. 84. First team Isiah Thomas and Magic Johnson. Second team Jim Paxson and Sidney Moncrief
Jim Paxton.
Paxson,
for the
wow.
Portland Trailblazers. And Sidney Moncrief is showing up a lot.
Yeah, Moncrief was
Well, then he blows out his knee and it's
Right.
over.
right. Yeah,
84, 85. So we're sort of midstream Isaiah's career now.
Mm-hmm.
First team though, Isaiah Magic. Second team, Sidney Moncrief and Michael Jordan. That's Jordan's rookie year.
Mm.
So we're
Okay.
at 3 All NBA teams in his first 4 seasons.
86, Isiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, first team. Second team, Sidney Moncrief, Alvin Robinson.
Man,
Okay. So 86, 87, obviously I think Moncrief now blows out the knee.
yeah, he's done.
First team, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson.
Okay.
Second team, Fat Lever for Denver, and Isiah Thomas.
So he doesn't win another one after that year because that's 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So even when they're winning titles, he doesn't win he doesn't get an All NBA team.
Because look, 88 first team, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson.
Mhm.
Second team, John Stockton, Clyde Drexler.
There you go.
Oh, I forgot Stockton
oh,
comes in.
Clyde.
Yeah.
But then they had a third team then after that.
Right. They had a third team. So in 89, you got Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. Second team, John Stockton, Kevin Johnson for Phoenix.
Oh, Phoenix. Yeah.
That's second team. I'm sorry. Third team, Dale Ellis, Mark Price.
Ooh, Mark Price.
Wow.
Cleveland, yeah.
That's 3 guys that are not even close to the level of player we're talking about. Because
Yeah.
I like Kevin Johnson, but he ain't on this level.
Right.
And
he
had-
had
a
some
breakout
good, he
year,
had some
though.
good years.
89, 90. Again, this is Detroit's second championship. First team, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan.
Right.
Second team, John Stockton, Kevin Johnson.
Mm.
Third team, Joe Dumars, his teammate, and Clyde
Yeah.
Drexler.
Yeah.
And then 91, which was really essentially maybe close to his last year. First team, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. Second team, Clyde Drexler, Kevin Johnson. Third team,
Kevin Johnson.
Joe Dumars, John Stockton.
Mm.
And then his actual last year that he played was 91, 92. And
Oh, he played in 93, 94.
He did?
He played till 94.
oh, okay. Well, okay, in 92, 91, 92, Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler, Tim Hardaway, John Stockton,
Oh, Hardaway made a handful.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
and
Tim
then
Yeah.
Mark Price, Kevin Johnson still there.
Mark Price.
Mark Price.
Oh,
That's
Mark
the
Price
second.
was tough.
Kevin Johnson just played 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he played good there for
Hey,
a
I mean, they
while.
won.
Watch this.
Well, that was their finals year, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
93. First team, Michael Jordan, Mark Price.
Oh.
Second team, Joe Dumars, John Stockton.
Yeah.
Third team, Tim Hardaway, Drazen Petrovic.
What?
He was good.
Drazen.
He was good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Drazen was killed that summer in the car.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Have you ever seen that 30 for 30?
Yes.
That is
That's
good.
About him and
Yeah.
Divac.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
good.
94. This is Isaiah's last year.
Yep.
Stockton and Spreewell, first team.
Spree.
Wow. Well, Spree.
So there's no Jordan this year.
Well, he
Kevin
was baseball,
Johnson,
wasn't he?
Mitch Richmond.
Ooh, Mitch.
And then third team, Gary Payton, Mark Price.
Wow.
Peyton
Okay.
Price.
So we go through some Mark Price, Clyde Drexler gets in there, Stockton gets
Well,
in there.
that begins the Gary Payton thing because that
Right.
was one of the things I said in the Payton episode was from 94 to 04, he made 9 All-NBA teams.
Yeah.
Right.
Gary Payton.
Yeah.
So
now this thing is turning into Gary Payton. By 95, first team, Stockton
mhm.
and Anthony Hardaway.
Oh my
Ooh.
God.
Hey.
Penny starts, and then Gary Payton, Mitch Richmond, Reggie Miller, Clyde Drexler.
Hey! There's a 4-year run with Kevin Johnson. That's
Right.
unreal.
Yeah. He played really well for a while.
20 points, 12 assists, 22 points, 11 assists, 22 points, 10 assists, 19 points, 10 assists.
Yeah.
That's a 4-year span.
Yep.
So what happened to him after that?
He
Did he
did
get hurt?
hurt his wrist. He did hurt his wrist.
Okay, I couldn't remember what happened to
He
him.
hurt his
Well,
Kevin
he's-
Johnson hurt his wrist?
No,
Did he?
Isaiah.
Oh, Isaiah broke his wrist. Yes, and then he tore his Achilles.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done.
But that was at the last year of his career. He tore his
But
Achilles.
I think in 92,
he did 92. He broke his wrist.
broke his wrist.
Yes. So let's look at this for a second, guys. Kevin Johnson, Isiah Thomas, head to head.
All right.
Okay. Kevin Johnson, 18 points a game to Isaiah's 19. So a 1 point difference.
Mhm.
They both average 9 assists a game.
Yeah.
They both average just over a steal and a half. While Kevin Johnson shoots 4% better from the field. They both don't shoot threes well. And he shoots 9% better from the free throw line. Now, obviously, he has no championships.
Right.
But that's scary, similar.
Kevin
a lot
Johnson was
scarier than
beast
I
there
thought.
For a little run.
He was. He had a run.
Now,
he
let
played
me.
really
Well,
well.
here's another big difference. Kevin Johnson only played 700 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't remember what happened to him.
He did get hurt because, okay, Penny got traded to Phoenix, remember?
Right.
And I started rooting for Phoenix because of Penny. All right? And Kevin Johnson was retired because he'd had some sort of devastating injury.
Okay.
And he came back and played with Penny for 2 years.
Did he?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He was actually, he and
He's one
Penny
of the
played
point
together for
guards
2
that
years.
Dunked on Akeem Olajuwon.
Oh, Kevin Johnson has
He has
Kevin
some
Johnson has some nice highlight
Yeah.
packages. He does. I knew Kevin Johnson was good. This surprises me though. Am I the only one? Like, is this?
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
I knew he
Oh,
was
I didn't know
good,
that.
and I just always wondered what happened to him.
Could
I mean, because he
could-
didn't make our
Could
list.
you pull up head to head Stockton and Isiah Thomas?
Yeah, I can do that.
It is surprising. I like Kevin Johnson, but not like that.
I knew he was good. I didn't know he was that good.
Yeah, I
was a
remember
big-
watching him play. Yeah, he was good.
I would if you'd have asked me before now, how would you describe Kevin Johnson? I would have said he's a guy that made some All-Star games, but he wasn't an All-NBA player. That's what I would have said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
we're talking about, I didn't look, but I don't know how many he had total, but he made 4 straight All-NBAs.
Yeah. But same thing with Sidney. Did anyone know Sidney Moncrief made that many All NBA?
No.
And I was a Sidney Moncrief fan because I was
Oh,
an
yeah.
Arkansas fan.
So I don't know, again, we can look ahead of him in a minute too, how many he had total, but he also has he's a 2-time defensive player of the year.
But and I remember when he blew out his knee. You know,
Yeah. And back then, tearing your ACL was a death sentence.
that was a death sentence.
It was, like now, guys come back from that in 9 months and are all-stars again.
Yeah.
But back then, you tore your ACL, your career
That
was
was it.
over.
Yeah.
I mean, even the mid-90s, that's what happened to Penny.
Yeah.
I mean,
And Sidney Moncrief tried to come back. He came back with the Atlanta Hawks, but he just wasn't the same.
he had no explosion.
Right. he had no explosion.
Yeah, and he was small. He needed explosion to be able to play. He was small.
And he was explosive. There's a famous Sports Illustrated picture of him with the ball behind his head going up for a dunk. Sports Illustrated cover.
Mm-hmm. All right, Stockton, Isiah, as you requested.
Okay.
6 more points for Isiah. An extra assist for Stockton. A few tenths and steals. The big difference with these guys is the efficiency numbers. Stockton's a 6% better from the field, a 9% better from 3, 8% better from the free throw line.
Stockton's one of the all-time leader in free throw percentage, isn't he?
No, he's only at 83, right below 83%,
okay.
82.
Oh, wow.
And Isiah averages a whole turnover more a game than Stockton. Of course, Stockton is the assist to turnover ratio guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the Stockton Isiah comparison. And there's a difference of 600 games.
Less. Isiah plays less a year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Isaiah's. I don't know if we have anybody else this high. That played this few games. Isaiah's. He's still below 1,000. He's in the mid 900s in games played. So, not that that's a terrible amount. I mean, we've had guys with lower. I mean, Kawhi and Grant Hill and
Davis,
Davis and Maravich. Those guys are in the 600s. Yeah.
Another quick little note on Kevin Johnson. He, Magic, and Isiah are the only players to average 20 points and 12 assists in a season.
Wow. That is
So
impressive.
it's Isiah, Magic, and Kevin Johnson.
Wow.
And all this report says is he faced an injury in his career that effectively ended it. It doesn't say what.
Hey, Drew.
Oh boy. Yes.
Why Gervin over Isiah?
I think I'll probably take Gervin's scoring over Isaiah's. I think that's probably why I would say. That's probably mostly the main reason.
Well, Drew, I think you're the only one other than me to have Rick Barry ranked this high. I have Isiah ranked ahead of Barry, which you have Rick ranked ahead of Isiah, but you and I have Rick ranked the highest.
Mm-hmm.
What made you put Rick up there?
I don't think Rick gets enough love for. I think he carried that Warriors team. I think some forget they always think about the Warriors now that won all those championships. I think he got them their first one, and I think no one really liked him, so they don't really have any stories that are positive about Rick. But I think Rick was a great player. Some of you say he's kind of in that shady area. You don't like the era of basketball as much, but I think he dominated that era pretty well. And he didn't have the greatest teammates as we've talked about before, and he still found a way to win a championship and get a Finals MVP. I think he also leads. He has the most points per game in the Finals, all time.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I think it's 36.
36,
Yeah.
And Mike's at 33
Yeah.
He has more points per game than Mike.
in finals history.
You mean the average over?
Over all finals games.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out now.
Yeah.
I know he played in the finals also in '67. Scored a lot of points. The Sixers won, but
Mhm.
Rick Barry scored a lot of points.
And he won 2 championships in the ABA. Rick Barry, I mean.
I'm not sure.
One of
think
which he was
he
hurt for. His team won, but he was hurt. But then he won. I think he won. They won 2.
I had to check. I'm not sure.
Looks like he won ABA title in '69. I think he just won 1 in the ABA.
All right. I need to go the opposite direction. I need to get Willard here.
Okay.
Litigation time, Willard.
I'm ready.
No, you and I are super similar on our Isiah rankings.
We are.
So,
We are.
well, let's start off with your guy. Why is Isiah ranked ahead of Durant?
Just because Durant's still playing.
Yeah,
Just give us some time.
I feel you. I mean, I have Isaiah ranked ahead of Durant as well.
Yeah, I mean, I have him literally 13 and 14.
Yeah.
Give Durant a little more time to tack on more, get some more accolades, some more stats, maybe get another chip or another MVP. He'll shoot up the list a little more.
All right. Again, something we agree on, but Drew and Doug do not. Why Isaiah ahead of Oscar?
Era of basketball, and Isaiah was the best player on 2 championship teams. Oscar was the second best player on 1 championship team.
It's fair enough. Fair enough.
But they are my 2 and 3 point guards, by the way.
Mine too.
Yeah, I like
So
Oscar.
let's ask Mark and Wade,
Okay.
and then we'll go to Drew and Doug. Why Isaiah ahead of Steph?
Partially what you said about KD. Steph is still writing the story.
True.
And
And you don't get a bigger Steph guy than Mark, so
yeah, I am a big Steph guy. I want to see Steph come through a little bit more, just a little bit more, in big moments.
Just a Finals MVP will do for me.
That's
bull crap. Dude, Iguodala's back. He's got that locked up, dude.
I'm a huge, I'm a huge Steph guy. I think Steph totally changes the game. He changed the way the game is played, and I can't blame all this basketball on him because, like you said about the Rockets, Golden State could actually do what they were doing. They were good at it, and I heard Tim Legler say, and I love this. He said, "Steph, no one changes the gravitational pull of a defense like Stephen Curry."
That was part of my Ray Allen comment from last episode. A sharp shooter changes everything on the court, and the Warriors had more than one. And that's why they were so unstoppable. It makes everything so much harder on the defense and opens everything up, and it's insane.
When you legitimately have to pick a person up at the logo, your defense is you legitimately
yeah.
have to pick Steph up when he crosses.
And then that
half court.
enables him to get to the basket easily,
Right.
and then people are coming off of their men to guard him, leaving people open for layups. It's a non-stop open area for him to do whatever he wants.
No, that is something that I think is a great point because Steph is not quick. Steph's not really explosive, and he gets to the rim because, like you said, he's got defenses. Well, not just him, but I mean other guys on his team because he played with Clay and Durant. They have the defense stretched so much. It's hard to help,
right?
and you're beating one dude off the dribble, and we know Curry is a fantastic ball handler. And you got to beat one dude off the dribble, and a lot of times you don't get anybody to contest you at the rim. There's nobody to help.
He's an underrated finisher, I believe, too. He can finish. He's pretty nice around the basket.
He is.
He's pretty nice around the basket, and he's unselfish enough. He'll make the right play if he has to passing the ball. That's what makes him, to me, special and just unreal.
Making our case for us. It's easy.
Yeah.
So what is the other side, guys? Why is Steph better than Isaiah?
Two MVPs to no MVPs.
He has 2 scoring titles to 0.
3 titles to 2 titles. That's probably, and I've only got him one step ahead.
Yeah.
There's just one more. Steph has 7 All-NBAs. Isaiah only has 5. I mean,
So
and he's still playing, so we can keep adding on some of that stuff. He's approaching the 3-point. Which one? Oh, shoot. Which one is he approaching?
what's that?
Which 3-point record is he approaching? I can't think.
Well, he broke the all-time.
Yeah, he broke
did.
it. I think he's got
He
it.
did. He's got it. He passed Ray Allen.
Yeah.
I thought, did he get him?
I think he's coming up.
He got him for the postseason and regular season combined list, not the just regular season.
Yeah, it's just the regular
okay.
season.
He's
It's coming up.
He's still
Okay.
behind Ray Allen.
80.
So he'll get it this season.
He'll get it this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on pace to shoot almost 500. He's almost this season. I mean, he's on pace to shoot almost. It's like
Insane.
he's on pace for like 486 or
That's
something
just
stupid
crazy.
like that. Like,
Yeah. Back to me and Mark kind of went on a I love Steph Curry rant and not answer the question. But honestly, kind of somewhat to what Mark said, I just want to see Steph Curry go into, like, I feel like there's not a big, humongous, like Steph Curry, humongous, what's the word I'm looking
Moment?
for? He's had some big moments in the playoffs, but like, I want more than just a 1 or 2, like just a big kaboom. Like or maybe it is the moment. Like with Durant.
I agree.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Durant, like when he hit that long three over LeBron James, then you just knew Durant's beating his ass. Like it's over.
No, I agree.
Like Durant got him.
I'm not a Curry fan, but I'm really just being unbiased here. I don't have a single moment that sticks out of my head for Steph Curry.
He had a couple big ones, not in the finals though. They were in like just during the playoffs against. I can't remember. Was it the Thunder?
I remember he had something against
him and Clay.
Him and Clay went off.
Yeah.
In a game 6, but he had something against Portland where he was hurt and came back, and he had 40 points. They went into overtime, and Steph was nailing them.
But then we're struggling to think about it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
I 100% agree with you. I've
said
said for years we've never seen Curry carry a team. Last year he carried a team. Now they didn't do well, but he carried a team, and this year he's doing it again. If I told Mark earlier today at work, if Clay comes back and it's not Klay Thompson, they're a playoff team and that's it. But if Clay comes back and it's Klay Thompson, they're a title contender again. And if Curry is still dominant like he is right now, and they're going to at least play for a title, if not win a title, that answers a lot of questions for me. Because Mark, even as this, Curry sycophant, talks about how the 15 finals is a fluke. Mark is that's the first one they won, right? 15.
15.
Yeah. I'm not putting words in your mouth, am I not?
Well, they benefited. I mean, Kyrie was hurt.
Kevin Love
was hurt. And I am not a LeBron James fan. I am
Thank
not.
you.
No one here
Thank
is.
you.
None of us are.
None of us are.
Yeah.
That's why we have to bring in a LeBron fan for that episode.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Exactly. Can't bring me in for that one. But Cleveland only had LeBron. If your second best player is Dellavedova,
Yeah.
and in 16, LeBron had a phenomenal finals, but I still want to see Curry do just a little more.
Yeah. And another thing was teams can diminish Curry sometimes because they can abuse him on defense, and that also wears him out for offense. You couldn't necessarily do that with Isiah. He was a good enough defender. You couldn't pick on him every single play and run your offense right at him.
Well, that's what I've said about a Curry, especially because he's the face of it. But there's a lot of guys today that are pure jump shooters. And like I said, you can wear legs out. And then when they can't shoot jump shots. Last night's a great example of it.
Yeah.
The Suns wore his ass out. They put him in every single play on the other end of the floor and made him play defense. They couldn't hide in a corner on some scrub. And they put him in every action. And they had 3 defenders that they continually switched on him. And when they switched, the Suns are switchable. So they go. And Curry, by the end of that game, was dogged.
Yeah.
He was.
They
And
get him back Friday night, by the way.
they play again?
They play Friday.
Yeah,
Oh,
in
okay.
Oakland now.
In Oakland.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Isiah, though, as far as like offensively, when Isiah wanted to, he could absolutely take over a game offensively whenever he
Yes.
wanted. On one of the clips I was watching, he scored 16 points in 90 seconds.
Yep.
Yes.
Playoffs against
that's
Atlanta.
insane. Like, so I think it's tricky, especially with point guards specifically because of their role on a team. Stats don't always tell the whole story. Like, in my opinion, Uncle Doug, I hope, agrees with this. Magic Johnson is the greatest ever at making everything run perfectly and make everyone around him better. And there are going to be guys that can score more. Or
Sure.
Stockton had seasons with more assists, but just because he threw the ball to Carmelo 38 times in a game, got assists for it, doesn't mean he was actually making everyone around him better. Like, with point guards, what you do every play affects the whole offense, the whole team. So there's more that goes into it, in my opinion, than your assists and your point totals, especially at point guard.
No, I agree. We've talked about
Yeah.
this multiple times. There are selfish assists. There are guys that have big assists that are selfish players and don't make teams better. LeBron doesn't make anybody better.
No.
No.
LeBron's never made players better. Now, okay, I shouldn't say that. It's not unanimous. There are guys, specific guys, that are role players that LeBron will help. He gets spot up shooters open shots.
Or he gets big men easy dunks.
Yes, in the pick and roll. He does do that. But they're all minuscule role player type guys.
So we talking about J.R. Smith?
He helped JR's end of his career. He
did.
He kept him in the NBA for 2-3 more years.
That's true. And he got JR paid.
He got Christian Thompson paid. He got Del Badova paid. He got all role players paid.
And then he ruined the franchise and rolled out.
That's how he did like 3 times now.
That's why Caruso went to the Bulls.
Yeah.
LeBron got him paid, but he was smart enough to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I respect
So he wasn't there for the downfall.
Yeah. And I wasn't trying to say, I use Stockton as an example because that's like the only person that averaged more assists than Magic off and on in seasons.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a selfish passer, but I do think the offense they ran did set him up to nonstop get assists every single play.
Yeah.
Because every play he was running a pick and roll with Carmelo or just throwing an entry pass to Carmelo. Maybe not every single play, but you get my point.
No. Seriously?
A lot
I
of
said
them.
it in the Stockton episode.
Yeah.
They ran the pick and roll every play.
So while
Every play.
I put Stockton in that upper echelon of all-time great passers, I don't think there's a huge difference between the top 5 or 6 passers of all time. I think they could all do all the passes, do all the angles, all of it. It's just who you're with, what system you're running, just everything that's going on around you. I think Kidd could do it, Nash could do it, Magic could do it, Stockton could do it. All these phenomenal passers. And there's even a couple non-point guards that could do most of the passes. Bird could pass a lot. LeBron is a good passer. He
He's
might
a
be a
good
selfish
passer,
passer, but he's a good passer.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
He knows
with
what
that.
he's doing. Like,
You see LeBron make passes where you're like, wow.
Those are the greatest
Yeah.
passers ever to me. And I
Mhm.
think they could all do the same things. It just depends on your situation. And Isaiah, I excluded Isaiah, and that's who I'm trying to talk about. Isaiah in his prime could do all that stuff too.
hmm I think Isaiah, before they started winning, he learned. Because you look at it, when they started winning, statistically he got worse.
But he says that.
No, that's what I'm getting at. He learned that I need to pick my spots offensively. And like Wade said, and then we get to the fourth quarter and Isaiah's like, all right, I got to take over. And I think that made not only the Pistons better, but it made him an overall better teammate. Because, let's be honest, I mean, there's not a lot of dudes on that team creating their own offense.
No.
I mean, Rodman's a Hall of Famer, but not because he was out there balling on offense.
Right.
No.
Joe
Dumars
Dumars is the only
Joe Dumars
player.
is the other guy that could get his own shot.
Yeah.
Aguirre could.
Oh, I forgot about Aguirre. Yeah,
Brought in Aguirre.
Um,
He could, but
and off the bench, the microwave did.
But Mahorn didn't score. Lambeer was
Lambeer was a
double-digit
jump
shoot.
shooter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he could shoot.
but it was
What?
a catch and shoot guy.
Catch
Wasn't
and
he like
shoot.
10, 12 points a game though?
Yeah. I wasn't saying he was a
that's all I
big
was
time
saying.
scorer. Yeah, I'm just saying
Yeah.
like he needed somebody to get him the ball. He wasn't creating it
But
himself.
those Pistons teams, they played their roles. I mean, there was no infighting like that. Everyone knew their role and did it well.
Oh jeez, they just voted unanimously to institute the lockout of the baseball.
Well,
No, I haven't watched baseball in 3 years anyway.
They're gonna lock out baseball.
Yeah, they just did it.
Yeah, they just voted unanimously. All the owners did.
yeah, they were talking about that today,
It's
about
on.
where nobody was getting anywhere between the two.
Yesterday, the meeting they came to meet with each other to try and work it out. The meeting lasted 8 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
We're
read
not even trying
just
for
read
the
that
last
before I
8
came over
minutes.
here.
Yeah, Max Scherzer said this morning because he's one of the Players Association
Union
leaders.
reps.
Yeah, union
Yeah.
reps. He said, "Guys, I don't see any way around it. They won't even talk to us." Now he could be lying. Maybe the players are being assholes. I don't know. But somebody's being an asshole at this point
Right.
because I mean, you don't meet for 8 minutes when you're trying to fix $1 billion franchise or company. So yeah, that's sad because
Yeah, I hate to see that.
I don't like it when any sport does it. I didn't even like it when hockey did it. I'm not even a big hockey guy.
Yeah.
It's like what are you trying to do? What do you think this accomplishes? I don't care if it's a strike or a lockout. What does
Right.
this accomplish
Well,
other than you losing money?
First one about killed them.
Yeah, baseball needed the steroid era to come out to save them after the last one.
Right.
They're lucky McGuire and Sosa showed up.
Well, you're losing money, and then you're taking away valuable years of athletes' career.
Right. You're never
Yes.
getting that back.
by just being a jackass.
Let's look at it this way. Now, regardless of how successful his team has been, Mike Trout is on pace to be one of the greatest players we've ever seen walk on the face of the
Right.
earth. And like Wade just said, he might lose a whole year of his career. Why would we do that?
And his prime's coming to an end.
Yeah, he's getting
Yeah.
old. He's getting slightly older.
He's like a year older than me, so he's going to be like 30,
Mm-hmm.
31-ish.
Yeah, he's coming to the end of his prime. You know, he's only got a couple chances left to put up huge seasons. I mean, he's not going to retire, I wouldn't think. But, I mean, he only has a couple more years to put up huge numbers before he starts his decline. And then, then we could, in a few years, we might be sitting on this podcast going, man, what if Mike Trout wouldn't have got his career fucked up by his
Right.
lockouts? You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants to do that?
Well, what's one of the first things people always say about Ted Williams? What if he didn't have to go to the war?
Right, exactly.
First thing that's obviously a bigger deal. But
Yeah,
you get my point.
Yeah, no, it is though. You don't want to have what ifs with all time great players.
No.
We just talked about Grant Hill. That's a travesty. We don't want to have that what if. You know, we don't want to have, man, what if Penny wouldn't have got hurt?
Right.
What if Grant Hill wouldn't have got hurt? What if Bill Walton wouldn't have got hurt?
What if Lim Bias doesn't die?
Yeah, what if Len Bias doesn't OD?
The guy Mark just said on that All-NBA list from the 90s, that Nets player
Drazen
that died in a car
Petrovic.
accident.
Yeah.
He was
Petrovic.
good.
He
Yeah,
was.
very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't that his rookie season? He went All NBA.
I was
No,
second
he
or
had been
third.
in there for a while because
I didn't-
he started his first 3 years were with Portland, and they traded him to New Jersey. And by the way, he trash talked to Mike too. I love it.
Yeah.
Trash
it
talked
was-
to Mike.
wasn't he like a crazy shooter?
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
Oh,
He
you're
was
right.
really-
You're right. He played quite a few years actually. I didn't
He-
realize he played that long.
He was. He was really the first great European star in the NBA.
So he would probably been Dirk before Dirk, maybe.
Yes. Oh yeah.
He wasn't that big though, was he?
He's only like 6'3", 6'4".
6'5", 195 is what they have him listed.
I
at.
just meant the first great European.
No,
I didn't mean like power
no,
forward.
But I mean, he was okay in 91, 92. He shot 51% from the field, 44% from three,
Yeah.
and averaged 20 points a game. Then the next season, his final season, he shoots almost 52% from the field, 45% from three, 87%, so almost 50, 40, 90. 22,
Roz was a bad
22
one.
points per game.
Mm-hmm.
And then he dies.
Yeah.
He didn't do much else. I mean, I'm not even trying to pick a fight. This looks like Reggie Miller. Like, he averaged 20 and he didn't do shit else.
The
Man.
early years were with Portland. I don't think they.
Reggie.
What the fuck was that?
I guess, although I didn't realize he was this old though. He was 28 when he died. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we just kind of got off on a thing, but fuck baseball. That pisses me off. And I don't mean fuck baseball as in I don't want to watch it. I mean fuck baseball as in like, why are you doing this?
I just figured that was important.
No,
Now
that's
sports
something
news.
we can bring up on the podcast for sure. That's big sports news.
Are we done with Isaiah though?
I think we made our case.
Okay.
Okay, so let me ask this final question real quick
Okay.
All right.
to everybody in the room. After this conversation, or after your research, or whatever the case may be, how do you feel about your Isaiah ranking now? I don't care who goes.
I feel like Isaiah might move up, not on the point guard list right now, since we haven't done the ones above on my list yet, like maybe Steph, or if you like
we did
point out.
Steph.
We haven't done Steph? Oh yeah, we did do Steph.
Yeah, Mark
If
was
we-
here for that one.
If we do Oscar, when we do Oscar,
And Magic.
Yeah, Oscar and Magic. Yeah.
oh, Magic's not going nowhere. Well, anyway.
Fair enough.
I agree.
Well, when we talk about Oscar, maybe that might change some of that. I think overall he might move up a little bit more on my list as of right now. I think
Mhm.
I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I don't think he's going to change on my point guard list, but the overall list is going to change.
Mark?
I was an advocate for Isaiah, so I feel like me and Wade, the defense rests. There you go.
I was you have him high in your rankings, but you kind of hated on him half the time.
I was surprised he was high on your rankings this
Yeah.
year.
I just don't. I said it up front. I don't like the guy, but I ranked him. I thought I ranked him nicely.
You did rank him
I was
nicely, but you
and I was
talked
surprised-
about him terribly.
I'm sort of like, you know.
The whole hour you're just dissing on the guy.
Yeah, and you still have him below Stockton.
And he gonna stay behind Stockton. Stockton is the prototypical point guard. If you wanted to build a point guard in a lab, you would build John Stockton.
He may be prototypical, but Isaiah's better. And he may be prototypical, but Isaiah's the new and improved version.
Ray, where's he at on your list?
He ain't going nowhere.
I know, but I wanted to ask.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not going nowhere, but I'm saying I've had such a hot take of top 50 players. We'll just see what happens when it's all over.
Okay.
Willard.
I think I like where I have him. But I mean, I did debate with him and Oscar. Just because I think Oscar has a ginormous historical impact on the game, and he was amazing. But I think I like where I have him, but I think you can make some debates with Oscar. Probably eventually Steph. I'm not on the Stockton train, but Stockton was obviously a very good point guard. But I like where I got him.
I will say this. I'm very comfortable with where I have Isaiah. The only way I see him I don't think I'll bump him on the point guard list at all. But on the overall list, the only way I see him moving much is if somebody that's currently playing does something fantastic. Like if Durant were to go off and win a title and have a great, fantastic time, maybe Durant moves ahead of him.
Okay,
I
got a
something like that.
Just a fun scenario. What would you do if Steph led the Warriors to the championship this year with no Durant?
Well, I've already said that Curry's coming up my list, point guard wise and overall wise.
This would be his biggest accomplishment.
This would be his biggest accomplishment. I don't want to sit here and say I know exactly where I would put him, but Steph would take a large leap up my list.
Okay.
I'm trying to think where I have
What
Steph
do you make
overall.
your list, Ray?
I'm still saying he's not a point guard.
Okay, that's fair enough.
But, I mean, I'm like, the shooting guard list, maybe. But he's not a point guard in any way, shape, or form. And we've already talked about that.
Okay.
Yeah, we know how you feel.
We know.
We know.
We're talking about a lot of people you don't like.
Well, shit happens.
All right, so we give our closing statements.
Yeah.
I thought we already kind of did.
Yeah, well.
That's kind of we can count that as our closing
Okay.
statements. All right. Well, that will wrap up our Isiah Thomas portion of this long episode, and move us into trivia. I assume you want to go, Drew.
Yes, 1 second. I'm handing out markers and boards.
Get my paper.
All right.
All right, is everyone ready?
I am ready.
All right. What is the fewest points scored in a quarter in an NBA game? It has happened twice. Two teams have done it.
Total by both teams or by one team?
No, by one team, but the same amount has happened twice by two totally different teams.
Okay, so the fewest points a team has scored in a quarter.
Okay.
Yes. I just needed to
Is there a sense? Like,
ever. Like it's
because I mean, wasn't there a game in early NBA where it was like 18-19?
Oh.
Because that's why they instituted the shot clock so they didn't mess with Mikan anymore.
Oh, now we got a trick question because I like.
Well, since it's been done twice, it's probably been done unexpectedly.
That's kind of what I was leaning towards. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm gonna guess.
I'm going to guess.
I'm ready.
I gotta guess.
I got
Yep.
one.
all right. Let's see them.
I said 4.
I said 8.
I said 4.
I said 9.
I said 6.
It is 2.
Oh.
The,
Ooh.
the 1997 Mavericks and the 2004 Warriors.
2004 and 97. I figured it'd be old days.
Yeah, me too.
2 points?
Yeah, 2 points.
In a quarter.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
But yeah, for the Alex, you were right about for a whole game, 1918, when the Lakers played. Oh, it was the team in Kansas City, I think.
Kansas City King?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
But they score more than 2 points every quarter.
Yeah,
Evidently. Wow.
All right, good question, Drew.
Nice.
Who would like to go next?
I can go. I got one ready. All right, following my draft theme, Isaiah was number 2 in the 1981 draft.
Mm-hmm.
His buddy from Chicago, Mark Aguirre, was number 1. One of our favorite players was drafted by San Diego that year at number 8. Who was it?
San Diego. So the current Clippers.
Yep.
Were they the Clippers then? San Diego
Yep.
Clippers.
Yeah.
Our
Favorite player.
This is 81.
Yep, 1981.
Well, this is purely a guess because I don't know.
I got confidence Ray's getting this.
Maybe.
This isn't right, but
I guessed.
Willard?
Wade looks stumped.
I don't.
I'm defending your lead, Wade.
Good job. Okay.
All right, everybody got one? Let's see what you got.
I said Tom Chambers.
I also said Tom Chambers.
Buck Williams.
I said Tom Chambers.
Is his last name Johnson?
Tom Chambers.
Yes.
When I saw his name on the list, I had to put him in trivia.
Freaking Tom Chambers. I finally got it right.
Wade comes back and I get 2 points.
Me too, Ray.
Hey.
We're on roll.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Freaking
Holy shit.
Tom
Wade,
Chambers.
you better never leave me again.
Sorry.
There's a love fest going on over here on this side of the room.
It's called a bromance. Leave us alone.
They're Colts fans.
Yeah. Son of a bitch. I can't believe this.
All right.
It's been like 12 weeks.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Okay.
Oh my god, this is so stupid. Well, no, I won't go with that one. Who was the winner of the first Sixth Man of the Year award in 82-83?
The first Sixth Man of the Year award in 82-83.
Yep. I was going to go with a different one, but that's too stupid.
All right, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at my phone for a question.
I was doing the same thing when he asked.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
All right. I said McHale.
Mikhail.
Mikhail.
Bobby Jones.
Bobby Jones has it.
Oh,
That was
nice.
my team.
I knew McHale won
Nice.
2 at the beginning of the 80s, so I was like, oh, it's got
Yeah.
to be
That's what
McHale.
I was guessing.
Very
Bobby
nice. Very
Jones.
nice.
Yeah.
How'd you know that, Mark?
He was on my team in '76. That's Moses and
My team. How many my teams does Mark have? It's got the Warriors, the Bulls, the Lakers, and the 76ers. So it's, again, like I say about Mark, which bandwagon do I jump today?
No, this is 1983. That's years ago. I was a big Doc fan.
You're a big Doc fan until you decided to become a Lakers fan because they was winning all these championships. You was rooting for the Lakers in the 80s. Act like you didn't.
I'm
Mark.
root for the Lakers today.
Don't hate on the man when he's buying stocks back in the day. You know, he's making money.
Wade, you got one?
No.
I'll go. All right. Current season, guys. Current season.
Son of a bitch.
Boy.
All right. Chris Paul currently leads the NBA in assists per game. Do we know who is second and third?
No.
Do we have to get both of them correct to get
If
points?
you can get either one of them.
Okay. Yeah. Gotta think of. Struggling to think of teams off the top of my head for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of a bunch of scores that don't
Yeah.
pass the ball.
I'm just, okay.
I can't think.
Go with that one.
Wowzers. I got 2 down.
Anybody?
Yeah, I got 2
Yeah,
down, but they're not
I'm
right.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, let's see what you got.
I said Steph and John Morant.
I said James Harden and Lonzo Ball.
Mm.
I said Westbrook and Harden.
I just put down some bonus.
Put Jokic and Harden.
Well, Harden is number 2,
All right.
and Trae Young is number 3.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Really didn't think Trae Young.
Yeah, I never would guess that.
So we got
So me and Wade.
And somebody else said Harden, didn't
So
they?
I
is
said
it-
Harden.
Oh, Mark
Yeah,
said
Mark.
Harden, yeah.
Yeah, go.
It's 2 points. Let's go.
Wade's coming back
Wade-
strong.
Yeah, Wade, don't leave. Me and Ray are really benefiting.
All right, Wade.
I have a question. All right. Oh, who has the highest free throw percentage ever for one season?
Oh.
That's a good one.
It is an insane percentage. Insane.
Is there any like attempts or anything, or can it be anything?
I mean, there's always a minimum amount of attempts that the NBA.
Make sure it's not someone who went like 2 for 2 or something.
No, there's always a minimum the NBA has.
Okay.
Like you have to get past a certain point to
I'm
qualify.
gonna think outside the box on this one.
All right. I got an answer.
I got an answer.
I do too.
Okay, go ahead. Let's see.
Say
Yeah.
Chris Paul.
I'll say Chris Paul.
Said Calvin Murphy.
I say Calvin Murphy.
And I said Reggie Miller.
Jose Calderon.
Oh,
Wow. I thought Chris Paul did it in Oklahoma City a couple years ago.
I thought.
Jose Calderon shot 98.1% for in 2008-2009 season.
Does it say how many he shot?
No, I mean in the actual article, I just screenshotted the stat. The actual article did tell me. I just don't remember what it is.
Calderon.
I mean, Calderon was a starting point guard in the NBA, so I'm sure he shot a decent amount. But
I do
That's-
remember that they said his career percentage wasn't anywhere near that. He just had this weird year where he just was making all his free throws.
Well, Calvin Murphy shot some free throws.
Calvin Murphy.
He was good.
all right, after today's tallies, these scores are as follows: Ray with 20,
Oh, hell yeah.
Go Ray.
Doug and Drew with 40, Alex with 45, and Wade with 51.
All right.
Yeah.
Wade's lead stays the same. And we appreciate you tuning in for the Isiah Thomas episode.
And thanks for coming, Mark.
Yeah,
we
man.
appreciate it.
Absolutely,
Thanks for
man.
having
We
me.
like having Mark Tyler here.
It was
Yeah.
fun. It was
Mhm.
fun.
So we appreciate it, and we will see you again. We
Not
will
for
see
the
you.
LeBron episode. Though.
Come on in and help us.
More of a KD type
KD,
situation.
Doc.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
KD.
fan right here.
Yeah.
I like it.
Woo.
Slim
Um, you KD guys probably shouldn't listen to the Stockton episode. I mean, Mark's heard me say it before, but we talk about KD's bitchness.
we do talk about that. We do.
But anyway, tune in next week for the Kevin Garnett episode. And thanks for listening to Sports the NEMO Way.